Hi comic book peeps, I'm Joe, and welcome to Anachronic Comics. Anachronic. Now in past videos, you've heard me talk about my short box, which contained #1 comics. Now, these are not all the #1 comics I have. I have a number of #1 comics that are part of runs that I was reading and collecting, and they're in different boxes. These #1 comics are part of runs either that I started to read and then lost interest in, or some that I never read, but I just happened to come across the comic either in a comic book shop or online. And if it doesn't cost too much money, I'll generally pick it up and just stick it in that short box. So what I thought we'd do today is take a look at the short box together. Haven't looked at it in a while, and let's see what I've got in there. As I remember, there might be some good stuff in there and some stuff that's just, #1. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's my short box B. There is a short box A, and in short box B is where I keep those #1s that I just told you about. So let's take a look and see what I've got. Okay. First one is Fantastic Four, the wedding special. Next is Shazam #1 by Jeff Johns. This was, I think, around the time of it was a freebie. They came out really to get people interested in the movie. Action Comics Special #1. DC Nation #0. Yeah, I have #0s in here too. They're kind of the first issues. This was a Midtown Comics exclusive that just basically, spoke about stuff happening with the summertime. Superman Special, Escape from Dinosaur Island. Not a great story, but it's a #1. DC Universe Rebirth, All-Star Batman. Nice cover of Two-Face. Black Pearl #1. Now, this is interesting here. This was written by Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame. It's a limited series, an idea that he had and he got produced. Actually, this was 1996. And actually, as I remember, he was hoping to make this into either a movie or a TV series, and he settled for a comic book. And frankly, this first issue wasn't that bad. I'm not sure if I'm going to look for the other four, but this was good, not bad. It was printed by Dark Horse. A Legion of Superheroes #1 from 1989. Superman: The Secret Years. Not sure what that is. I haven't read it. In 1985. The cover artwork doesn't look too good. Oh, this was the Image Plus where they spoke about their creators and so forth in there. But it is a #1, so I picked it up. Stars and Stripes 0. You saw the Bat doing a dirty grading on this one. This is the one I kept. The other one is in GC's hands right now for Jeff Johns' signature. Doomsday #1. This is a 25 cents Charlton comic. I think I read this one when I picked it up, and it was actually decent. Not great, but decent. Here's OMAC. OMAC, the one-man army, has made appearances on and off in other DC comics. Brother Eye is involved with this. This was a Jack Kirby invention. You can almost tell by the woman who's in parts over there. It certainly looks like Kirby artwork. The Stan Lee Memorial, Superior Spider-Man #1. Starman #1, not the original Starman, second one I believe. Ragman. Now, I'd never heard of Ragman until he appeared in the Arrowverse, and I managed to find this, I believe, in a comic book shop in downtown Manhattan. Kazar the Savage. Collector's item premiere issue. He'll say that. Shadow #1. Batgirl Rebirth #1. Superman Rebirth. The ongoing series, Superman Rebirth. Superman Rebirth Annual #1. Now this is interesting. Alter Ego #1 of 4. Roy Thomas was involved with the Alter Ego fanzine back in the 1960s. And at this point in time, First Comics got him to write a story about it, and Ron Harris drew it, and so he became a superhero, Alter Ego. There was another one, and I'm going to do a video on this, that was published in Alter Ego called Alter an Ego, but we'll get into that in another video once I get my facts and everything straight on that. And actually, when I was younger, I used to get Alter Ego, Batmania, and a few of the other fanzines, as they were called at the time, which really piqued my interest in comics and how comics worked. Spider-Man Magazine. Now, Magazine is not magazine, okay? The magazine was about 6 issues, as I recall, and these 6 issues had multiple stories in them, involving either Spider-Man or Spider-Man-related villains and that type of thing. So this is #1. Next one is Superman, the Man of Steel, 48-page first issue. Here's Batman Superman #1. This was obviously a variant, but I liked it. It looks kind of cool. Now here's something interesting. Howard the Duck. This is the second printing, #1. Now if you guys remember about Howard the Duck, this was the first appearance of Gwenpool in a story. She appeared, I think, on a cover earlier, but this is the first time she was actually in a story. You see her down at the bottom. And another variant of that with her on the cover. DC's Weird Worlds, starring Tarzan. And here's Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Don't know where I got this, but I have it. Justice League of America #1. Not sure which incarnation this was, but let's see. Oh, it says 1997. From 1987, Spectre #1. From 1988, Spectre #1 Annual. From 1992, Shadow of the Bat #1. Six-issue miniseries, Forever People. The Human Fly #1. JLA Annual #1 with John Johns on the cover. This was from 1997. Wonder Man #1. The Question #1 of 6. Question was originally a Charlton comic, if I remember correctly, and then came over with DC when DC picked them all up. Same with Blue Beetle, Ted Cord, and Blue Beetle and Booster Gold kind of go together. Been working on the Booster Gold run, Volume 1. I'm thinking this might be the next one that I work on. Silver Surfer number 1. A new one, Maestro number 1. And I got a bunch of these homage comics to go to Hulk Annual number 1. What's this here? Oh, Absolute Carnage number 1. Cult of Carnage variant. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 1. Now, this one, Patriotica number 1 from Antarctic Press. I picked it up because I like covers that are patriotic. And so I read the story and I said, oh, maybe I'll read the story, maybe pick up the others. No, don't read the story. Cover's great, story not so much. Marvel's Doc Savage. I used to read the reprints in the paperbacks when I was a kid. I loved Doc Savage stories. Obviously, the stories are from the 30s, but they reprinted them and they just held up so well. Omega the Unknown, the most fantastic first issue of all, according to the cover. The X-Force number 1 in the polybag with the, I think the card is still in here too. So I picked that up. Didn't open it. Astonishing Ant-Man number 1, relatively new comic. Spawn Director's Cut. I think you saw this one already in another video. Hey, Merry Christmas. Here we are close to Christmas, and we have Lobo's Christmas Special, number 1. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. variant, number 1. I forgot what they called these variants. If you remember, put it in the comments. Dr. Fate, number 1. Jack of Hearts, number 1. Ms. Marvel, number 1. Agents of Atlas, number 1. Morbius, the Living Vampire, number 1. Red Hood and Arsenal, number 1. Return of Wolverine, number 1. JLA Avengers crossover, number 1. Justice League, first issue, number 1. X Factor, book 1. Wolverine Dangerous Games, number 1. Universe, number 1. Ultimate Fantastic Four, number 1. Why do I keep saying number 1? They're all number 1s, right? Unless it's a 0. Guy Gardner, Collateral Damage. Tor. This was from 1975. Warheads. X-Force. Notice I'm not saying number 1 anymore. Cyclops and Phoenix. This is from the 90s, I think 96 or so. Sting of the Green Hornet. I pick up Green Hornet comics now and then. I have some in my collection. And I really like the TV show. It was kind of cool. I think it only lasted for 1 season. This comic is from 1992. Okay, I can move some of these over like this. Hold on. U.S. This was an interesting story. Actually, it's a two-parter. Alex Ross, I think, wrote and painted it. It's one of those you got to think about. 1997. This was number 1. I do have number 2 in here too because it's only a two-parter, so I just stuck it in here as well. There's Uncle Sam. Batman: The Adventure Continues. Another variation of it. Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, this was, I think it was, in Key Collector, it said this was the 3rd ongoing series of Spider-Man. Obviously, ASM is the other. If you know what the second one was, put it down in the comments. Be interested to see. The Savage She-Hulk. The Power of Warlock. Giant-size supervillain team-up. Dr. Doom and Submariner. We're missing a piece over here on this one, but I picked this up anyway because it was old and I kind of liked the cover. And last but not least, Incredible Hulk number 102. Now, what's the significance of Incredible Hulk number 102? Well, as you Hulkians may know, after Fantastic Four, the first singular comic book that Marvel came out with was The Incredible Hulk. And then Thor made his appearance in Journey into Mystery. But the Incredible Hulk comic only lasted for about 6 issues, I believe. And then Hulk started to appear in Tales to Astonish. I think in issue 59, he was a supporting character fighting either Ant-Man or Giant Man, whatever he was at the time. And then number 60, he became a co-title with Ant-Man in the Tales to Astonish. Then we get to number 101, The Incredible Hulk. That was the last one where it was dual. I think it was with the Submariner at that point. Then in 102, The Incredible Hulk title began again. So actually, The Incredible Hulk 102 is really Tales to Astonish 102. And if you really wanted to keep the numbers going, it would be Incredible Hulk number 7. But that's kind of the way it worked. So this is a decent copy, some color loss and so forth, but it's kind of cool to have this 12-cent comic. So there you have it, my short box of number 1 comics. Some good ones in there, right? And some others that are, yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that alerts button so you'll be aware of when I post my next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon.